Hey, what's up, guys? I just got this Arsenal SAM7 AK. It's a milled AK. We're going to be talking about the setup. Only 2 rounds left. Now, I'm going to do a separate video on this eventually, maybe a live stream, but I swear to God, every time I want an AK, God puts it in my life. I've gotten, like, this is the 4th AK that I've wanted that just came into my life right when I wanted it. But anyways, I recently traded for this at Alumni Weekend at Tactical Response. And, the furniture on it isn't exactly what I was looking for, but I do have the original furniture too. But I wanted to try it out. Now, the green stuff, basically, the handguard and the dust cover is from Military Equipment Ukraine. ME Ukraine is the company. So this was actually brought back from the war in Kazaria.
Go ahead and tell people what's going on.
I mean, Ukraine. And I wasn't crazy about it, but I wanted to try it. Number one, I've never liked the idea of mounting an optic to the dust cover. Now, I zeroed it and I tested it, opening and closing it, but I couldn't really tell if the shifts I was getting was just the fact that, like, I'm, wiping sweat and, my eyes are losing focus and whatnot because it's so hot outside, or if actually opening and closing it was making it lose zero. But when I last opened and closed it, it was shooting right where I needed to on about a 1-inch size target at 50 yards. And I was like, okay, I'm just not going to open and close it again. All right. Now, one note with that is that if you have one of these or you come across one of these dust covers, the recoil spring, I actually had to use the tip of my knife to get in the hole right there and kind of pull it out to lock it into position. Because if I didn't do that, it was very easy for me to, like, bump it with my hand, and then the dust cover could come up and it wouldn't be properly mounted. Now, this handguard I dig, I think that if you were doing night vision stuff with an AK, this would be a pretty good one to have, because you could easily mount a laser up here at the front, or if you're running it like I have it with this higher optic, you could put a laser right here, and that's going to keep the balance further back. And if you're looking for a longer handguard, this could definitely be an option that you could go for. But let's talk about kind of the unique things that I do have going on with this. Now, number one, this is probably going to make people freak out a little bit, is having that higher optic on here. Well, I prefer a 2.26 inch mount, like the Unity tactical mounts on my ARs. But I also kind of dig a carry handle with a red dot on top. Now, this is more close to the height of a carry handle mounted red dot than it is a Unity tactical fast mount. So it's taller than the 2.26 inches mount. And the reason for that is the angle of this stock is just like a Type 56 stock. So, like with the Chinese AKs, either a milled Type 56 or stamped Type 56, if you look at it, you'll notice it's got a different stock angle than an AKM. Now, so between having this angle of stock and the lower 1/3 co-witness mount, it's about carry handle height, which I like. Now, I've done videos on that in the past, but basically I can keep my head in a more neutral position. I don't have to scrunch my head down to get in line with to get my eye in line with the optic. It's just like, boom, there it is. Notice I'm not moving my head. I've got my stock in my shoulder, not like all the way in, right? But it's in my shoulder. And then people always say, oh, it's a chin weld. Well, my chin is here. It's more of a jaw weld. My jaw is right here. So anyways, if you have an extra large head, you don't fucking need to freak out about it. And honestly, most of the things I've heard about, like, oh, you shouldn't use that high of an optic, it's all bullshit. It's just fine. But that's another subject. I like it. I have it. Now, I'm able to achieve that, like I said, with a lower 1/3 co-witness mount. Now, basically all the stuff on this gun was just, you know, as far as this, and this, it's just stuff I had. Well, I guess I did buy the foregrip later. So I didn't actually have to add anything or go out and buy anything to set up this gun. But now I've got a quick release mount. I mounted it further back because I do plan on eventually putting a laser on this for night vision. And I'm thinking I'll put that right here. I think that would look cool. And I think that'd be a really handy spot to be able to reach the laser with. But that will also make it so the optic clears the laser. The optic being mounted further back also brings the balance further back. Now, one thing with this being a milled AK that I first noticed, I was like, wow, it's actually pretty well balanced. Like right here, the center of gravity is pretty much right where my hand is at. Obviously, it's got leverage on the magazine too, but it's like the center of gravity is further back on this than it is normally with a stamped AK. And so that's one thing I really like. Having that heavier receiver, I'm actually not finding to be much of a problem. Now for switching hands with the rifle, it is a bit awkward to do it just off the pistol grip, like because it's still, you know, 16-inch gun and it's still kind of front heavy. It's going to be a bit easier to switch hands by actually moving one hand forward and then switching over instead of just off the pistol grip, which I would prefer to do. But that's like the biggest downside I've found to this gun so far. Now, with the light, I have that mounted at 6 o'clock. So what that allows me to do is if I switch hands with the rifle, it's in the same position for each hand. It's right down here, so I could just hit that with my fingertip on either hand, and it's not that big of a deal. Now, with this BCM short vertical grip, even though it's not technically vertical. Now, could you put this on like an AR pistol or an AK pistol legally? Fucking, I don't know. They'll probably try to murder your whole family for that. But having it low like that, shorter like that, instead of like a full length grip, it gives you enough space where that magazine can insert and eject out from the gun without it being an issue. So that forward grip isn't actually in the way. And the other thing with that is it gives you a space where if this got really, really hot because you were shooting a lot, you could grab down on there, and of course you can always just grab onto the magazine. But I like vertical grips for a lot of things, like barricade shooting, just walking around with the gun's more comfortable. And of course, it's a great index for where should I grab this gun to be able to reach that light. Now, light I have on there, PowerTac M5 G3 for like a budget light. And these have proven to be my favorite. 2000 lumens, runs on an 18650, magnetically rechargeable, all that. There are other lights I want to test in the future, but I've got these on AKs, ARs, shotguns, and I have received one out of like the 15 I own, and I've even lost one recently. But I did receive one in the mail that I need to send back. But other than that, they've been good, and they, from what I know, they have a good warranty. After that, we got a Midwest Industries flash hider on here. It's like a $45 piece. I haven't like tested it up against my 4-piece flash hider, but from what I've seen, they're pretty good. Now, of course, truck gun sling on here. That's my favorite sling because I just don't wear the sling. You know, like if I'm using the rifle, I prefer not to wear the sling. and you think about it, why do we have a sling on our gun, on our rifle? Well, it's for when we're not using our rifle. So like the way I think about it is if I'm wearing my sling, I'm prioritizing not using my rifle. That's why I like the truck gun sling. It still gives me a sling for when I do want to sling it, but it's out of the way besides that. It's just tight to the gun. Now, I did add some shock cord over on this end that I can just pull that out, and then my sling can move freely on there, and then when I want it out of the way, I can just tuck this back in underneath itself on the shock cord. And I did that just to kind of keep it out of the way, because as you can see here, it's in the way of the pistol grip, so switching hands and all that. This could become a nuisance with the angle that it goes to from here to here. And so just having this shock cord right here that I can just tuck in on itself makes it so that's no longer an issue. Yeah. Oh, I guess I did change one other thing. I put this, I believe it's a TDI pistol grip on here. I just kind of like it. I dig the way it looks. I wanted to work with it a little bit more. Is it the best one? I'm not sure, but I do certainly like how fat it is, and it feels good when I'm shooting it. I think it gives me a little bit more neutral of an angle for my trigger finger to be pressing the trigger straight back, kind of like BCM did with their designs. But yeah, that's about it. Oh, now this rear sight I'm not crazy about, because I pretty much had to max out my front sight and bring it up as high as I could, to the point where it's like, if I really truly zero this to where I need it to be, like I might lose my front sight. So my front sight is up there pretty high, but with all the rounds I shot yesterday, it did not come out, so I'm thankful for that. But I definitely don't like it with this rear sight, so that is something I would prefer to replace in the future, but we'll see what happens. Basically right now it's zeroed for a 6 o'clock hold at 50 yards, and basically my rounds are going to impact about 2 inches high above my front post at 50 yards. So I don't like that. And so this rear sight I do not like for that reason. But anyways, that's it, guys. Tell me what you think. Any more AK content you want, let me know. Class is coming up, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, the Combat Arts Summit, and we're going to be doing Proving Grounds pistol, Force on Force the day before. And that's it. So thank you for watching. Keep fighting communism. Kill all pedophiles. And remember that training saves lives.